The Rosewood Thieves. That
Okay.
the era of the Rosewood Thieves, man. When I met you, you was into the Thieves. Y'all was doing everything with the Thieves, and it was surprising to me because the house next door that I grew up on Rosewood Street
That's wild.
is the next door. That's you. That was the Thieves' house, and I remember it was like one time y'all had like a house party, and it was like the whole block was just full, like the whole street was lined up with cars and everything. And then y'all boys was in there performing and just like a real house party shit. Tell me about the days or one of the most craziest stories you got performing with. Was it Kyle and James, man? Killer Swamp. What was it like?
Killer Swami, Big Game
Yeah,
James.
yeah.
Listen, man, Rosewood Thievz is
Hmm.
that's a whole institution, bro.
Dude.
Real talk. But when I lived on Rosewood, like he said, and Kyle was one of my roommates, and then I was making the beats, and Big Game, James
Hmm.
would come, and we started that band, and we started going to open mics at Fitzgerald's. Fitzgerald's don't even exist no more.
I heard of that
We was
before.
doing Fitzgerald's. We would go there every week and do the 15 minutes they give you, and then we would wreck that shit so much. I remember us going up there, and they gave us 30 minutes. One time, they was like, "Man, these boys be killing it."
Shit.
Yeah. After our second show, we got offered a distribution deal through So South, who do digital distribution for Zero, Lil Kiki, and stuff like that. But on Rosewood, we used to throw these parties, man. They were epic. It's one of them you had to be there type things. I wish, in hindsight, now that we was in the moment. We weren't nowadays, and it just shows you like it's business. You should have been recording all that shit.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
visuals.
But we were in the moment type guys. Like we weren't trying to film everything.
Cause y'all were, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was really like artists, 3 artists up there working together, performing together, bouncing off each other.
Mm-hmm.
It was a
It
real
was choreographed.
Yeah, y'all had the
We
uniforms.
rehearsed. We would wear the same thing.
Yeah.
We rehearsed our sets. We really did. We were creative with our sets. At these house parties we would use that as an opportunity to perform our music. And we had a pool table that was like it was like a 7 or 8 foot long pool table. We barely played pool on. That was our stage.
Oh yeah,
we stood on top of this giant pool table in the living room, and people would be there. We'd be performing our music, and that's how we and shit. That from there, it took us to performing in California to New York, all over Texas, man, all kinds of places.
Yeah, man, I came to a show, man. The Super Bowl was going, and the Thieves had a show downtown with the Super Bowl going on, man. That was a great performance, bro. And it just amazed me because I see you like regularly during the day because I used to work with you and stuff.
Yeah.
But then I go and you be a real performer,
yeah,
bro.
I was a teacher by day,
and at night,
musician by like that, man. By night, I was.
But it wasn't no facade, no. Just like you could tell y'all had a chemistry up there, and the sound was like.
We rehearsed a lot. We rehearsed like every day. Every day type shit.
Now I remember coming like into the house, or whatever, and y'all have like a whiteboard written down of structure about how y'all was doing stuff and layout, all that. That kind of inspired me. Like I'd be like, damn, when I be doing my tapes and stuff, like let me write this down. So it's like these boys was ready. You know what I mean?
Nah, we was. That was a time, man. Super Bowl Live was awesome. We had to audition for that. When the Super Bowl came down here for Houston, they were like, "Oh, they're gonna have like some activations going on that they're gonna give local artists a chance." So we went and rehearsed for that. We went and auditioned for it, and they have like C, B, and A levels, and we got the A level, and we got to be on the stage, and then it went from you was only supposed to get like one day, but they liked us so much we performed like every day.
Super
Bowl Live.
Yeah, I remember
that was a great exposure.
Yeah, I had like 3-4 days or something like that.
Yeah, we
like I seen y'all perform. I walk back, I see Michael Strahan and all them getting on the set. Like that shit was crazy.
We was right there. And now you say that like those dudes saw us. And
dancing.
Like, man, look at these. Yeah. We had a show that was very like our music was very like again, a gumbo, because all of us come from like, we really come from like, it's funny because we all come from like, I wouldn't say the hood. I'm like, my parents was like between, if you could do it between low class and middle, we was right there.
Yeah.
And like, but I was intelligent. I can't help that I went to straight Jesuit.
Yeah, my brother went to private school.
We very intelligent. Our high level of thinking and being able to execute and how we fuse things. You
that
know,
music,
it was so
man, it was
translated into our sound and what we were influenced by. So we were very much in your face on stage. It was very much so like punk rap.
Yeah, they was
rap.
They was moving. They was around the whole.
We was like, you would know when we come perform. It was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
You had no choice but to like, what the hell?
They gonna set it off.
We gonna set it off.
This is If that band was playing before I was born, you finna be entertained. You finna get up and be like, okay, they doing something. You know what I mean? It wasn't no quiet, timid, nothing. It's live at 5 when you see the Thievz. Yeah, they
most time when you first start performing as an artist, you know what I'm saying? Like when you hit the stage, most times you're only getting 5-10 minutes to do something. So like we was like, for them 5-10 minutes, we about to fucking go crazy. And that led to us learn, like later on we started getting 30-minute sets, 45-minute sets. Then you started like, damn, we starting to get booked and like we opening up. You say Chief Keef. I remember us opening up for Chief Keef.
Damn, okay.
At the Warehouse Live, opening up for Tony.
Yeah,
bro. Like, that's some real shit, bro. They wanted us to go on tour with them. That was when we ended, you know, unfortunately that year 2018 when we ended, we had opened up for Tony and talking to their manager. They liked us so much. I'm gonna tell a funny story about Tony. They hopefully y'all know who Tony is, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I had never seen, like, these are musicians, bro. These are like the greats, you know. Minus Raphael Sadiq, he wasn't a part at that time, but they still had Dwayne Wiggins and the rest of them.
Okay.
And I remember seeing them at a show where we opened up for them. They were smoking blunts and shit. I'm like, man, look at us worried about our voices, and these niggas smoking blunts. Back they chain smoking blunts and can sing, you know. And they kind of was, I wouldn't say no Hollywood shit, but they was like, you know, they ain't gonna talk to us, but after we perform on that stage. And then we used to have this song called Freedom. No matter what, we gonna end with Freedom. And like that shit, bro, when we walked off the stage, they was hugging us, dabbing us up, passing the blunt and stuff like that. And it was just like, that was a time, bro. Like, I felt like, oh my God, we got accepted by like some greats.
Nah, that song Freedom, bro, like, you know, it's a hit. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna lie to you. I was listening to it probably a couple days ago. But that's the only song on all platforms with the Rosewood Thievz.
Yeah.
That's the only one y'all left up there.
We some real underground type dudes, so if you really want to...
You can find it. Don't get me wrong.
Find our music really on either YouTube or, well, I think it's the best place on earth is SoundCloud.
You love that SoundCloud.
I don't care what nobody say about it. They call you a SoundCloud rapper, man.
Yeah.
Either, you know what I'm saying? Because some of the biggest artists you know came up off of that, from Billie Eilish to Lil Uzi Vert, to the Futures, and
SoundCloud,
like these are some of the biggest influences on music now. And like, if you right now, if you have a favorite artist, 9 times out of 10 you think you heard all their music, go to SoundCloud, look them up. They're gonna have shit that you ain't never heard. It's just on SoundCloud.
Oh wow.
So yeah. So
that's what our
music. I don't know. I want to say, I ain't gonna say names. I want to say somebody came down and took some of our music off. One of the bandmates.
Oh man,
I don't know why.
What happened.
You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm not. That's not being negative or nothing. But
yeah.
It's just like, you know. But in a sense, I just.
So, are you comfortable with what happened with the group?
Now I am.
Gotta be.
Back then, that's funny, I'm sharing this. Back then, at that time, like, it was almost like we had worked so hard to get to a certain point. Like, even to the point where, like, man, a lot of people do music. I'm not trying to make us, but a lot of people, like, we was serious about that shit, bro. Like, to where the points we was taking leaps whether you understood what we was doing or not, we were what you need to be is called consistent.
Sure.
To be seen, and we were building a cult following.
Sure.
Like you come to our shows, and it was very diverse. We had people who was coming to our shows, buying our merch, and like a lot of people do music and they don't get that like right off the bat unless you do something and then you get on and people want to buy. But like we did what you had to sustain us, like, but how it ended, it just was a lot of stuff that happened that you know, it was unfortunate, but it was like being in a big game and you about to score your first touchdown and then somebody was like, man, I don't want to do this no more. You know what I'm saying? Take the ball. You know, I don't even want to play no more. So we was about to, you know, a lot of things was happening that year. Like that year we ended, that next year we started getting like when we get emails to perform.
Sure. They was coming in.
They was coming paying us.
Shit.
Because we performed for free for a lot of stuff. That's the stuff that don't get talked about. Like we performed so long for free. So the fact that like now you want to pay us, now you want to stop, like it's like so. But I mean, I'm not happy with how it ended because I really gave my all to that. But
you did what you said.
I've grown.
Yeah.
I put that in the past. I still have love for those guys. I just saw them last week. That boy Kyle Swami, his birthday was last. We showed up and you know I saw James. I don't see him as often as I see Kyle, but we would be able to talk and say what's up. We don't never really talk about Rosewood, but I wasn't happy
at the ending
when it happened.
Yeah,
it took me a while to get up over that because we had built something for like almost a decade, and it's just like seeing. Like when it's like funny. I remember an interview with Kevin Hart, and Kevin Hart said, "When people see Kevin Hart, they think I'm a new comedian, but this is 10 years for me to get just to you, and now you like, oh, he knew, but it's like you don't know. I've been doing this for 10 years. That's how it was with us. It's like you think we knew, but we've been doing this for like 10 years now. So it's like it just was like it left a bitter taste, me personally." In my mouth that I had to like, it helped me grow in a sense where I had to learn how to navigate my feelings and how to navigate through things that you thought was going to go, that it didn't go, especially when you put your all into it like that. But where I am now, I mean, it is what it is. I'm happy to still be doing.
Yeah, bro, you done went on, you know, you got to work with other artists as a solo artist, you know, you put out some work, you know, especially Suede. Now that motherfucker came out and that shit was like some different shit from me hearing with the Thievz with you because it was more like put it like this, Flagger Woods, man, your boy Flagger Woods, how he come on the track and how he know like it sound like the confidence he bring on it with your ways of all these different diversities, like you say, gumbo on the beat. Like you switch it up and start off one way, then it come back, and then you know what I mean. That whole album, you know what I mean. I was messing with. How'd y'all come up with that? You know, the TD Jakes when I come through with the chopper serving gospel. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. That's, you know.